bases loaded, killing, I'm on the road, oh, cause I'm in my zone, everything's a go, oh, destiny's mine, yeah, I feel it in my bones, cause I'm in my ride, oh, 3, 2, 1, I'ma fly away, I'ma blast off, cause I'm in my ride, oh.
What's going on? It's your boy Core 187. Sorry if you see my eyes a little red or something, you know what I mean? Cause I ain't gonna lie. Shout out to the Clips. Yo, Birds Don't Sing. I just watched the 90’s performance, and like anytime I hear that song just like it gets to me. I wasn't close to my father, but that was beautiful. That mother part, woo! Everything about that song is fire. But that's not what we here for, right? We here for, somebody in the comments was like, you know, how was it? You know, it seemed pretty cool back then how music used to work. So I'm gonna tell you how music used to work, right? Because a lot of people don't know. Y'all new here, y'all really never, you know, some of y'all weren't grown, y'all wasn't raised with that. So I'm gonna tell you about like how it was back then. So if I can remember, right, with every album, like it was a huge rollout. You know how everything gets leaked and stuff like that. It was really hard for certain things to get leaked, especially for an anticipated album. You know what I mean? Like, before the MP3s and all that, I'm talking about like cassette tapes, CDs, like before like the computer became like the main hub to grasp music. Like, at one point, you know, even if you had to go to a bootlegger to get the music, like, you know, that person had to know somebody to get that music. That's just how that went, right? I come from an era where my brother, shout out to my brother Henry, right? He would, like, you know, borrow music or whatever the case may be, and that's really how it all started. So you would get, like, you know, he had vinyl records, CDs, and then we had cassette tapes. Now the thing about it was, you know, Hot 97 or whatever radio station you was listening to, they would do a raffle of certain songs, and if the certain song was a hit, they would leak it out. Like, they would kind of do this thing where, like, they would play it one time, but they wouldn't play it repetitiously. They kind of like what's the word? Jump roped it inside to a certain degree, and then eventually you had to catch it. Now, if that song wasn't, if you didn't have the record and it was a brand new single, you literally had to go ahead and take your cassette tape and literally press record and play at the same time and let that play and get the certain hit songs, and then eventually you would wait for the album. This is how I used to do it. And man, back then, which I kind of miss, you know what I mean, which I really feel like it needs to come back, because honestly, when you got really, really great albums that come out, like this last album that just came out, how we used to do, it used to be a huge rollout. You know, it'd be one single that really meant something, it would blow up, and then pretty much if it was really good, people would anticipate your record. You know what I mean? That's pretty much how it went. And the album would be like, you know, if you went to Tower, if you went to even when Radio Shack was out, you could get it from Radio Shack, Fi, just to name a few, you know what I mean? And literally the album would be depending on if it was a 2-disc, if it was a 1-disc, depending on the quality of, you know, what that artist was doing, that'd be like $15, sometimes $20. I think Chameleonaire's album when I bought it was like $25. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to Chameleonaire, shouldn't have been 25. But anyway, right? Anyway, he has some hits on there, but not 25, bro. Nah. But I can't knock it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody believe in they art, they believe in their art, not knocking it, right? So you would get the album and you would listen to that album. You know, nowadays we all really spoiled because, like, this generation, y'all have it to where, like, you know, the album comes out, you could just literally play it by yourself and just be in tune. That wasn't how we kind of did things. We did things like a ritual, right? Like, say there was a Nas album, or if there was an M album, or a Rough Riders album. You know, if you was in the hood, and, you know, we really listened to, like, we really took hip-hop serious. So, like, I would be on Sackman at my boy Rob crib, or we would be at my boy Steve in the D crib or Todd crib. You know what I'm saying? Or I was over there on Howard Avenue chilling with Amos, Nate, what's up? You already know. You know what I'm saying? Like, rest in peace, Gary, you know, Ori, and, you know, the list go on, Tyrone, Anthony, y'all know, right? You know what I mean? Javon, you already know. Jermaine, Shockey, what's up? Right? And we would have this thing to where, you know, we would play these, you know, we would sit down and we would, like, listen to this record, and we would, like, literally, like, see what was going on with it. And we would, like, rewind the songs back. You know, we would say, hey, what did they mean by this? And we literally would, like, educate ourselves. We used to do it in high school too. So if there was a certain album that we knew that was, like, really, really fire, we wouldn't say it to nobody, whatever, But then you would have this situation where like you in like the library, you in the lunchroom or whatever, and in the midst of the lunchroom or the library, you could like, I don't know, I was a rap nerd. I didn't care. Like, I could tell if somebody was listening to something dope. You listen to them, you see them bopping, then you see like certain things they saying, boom, 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 and then all of a sudden you're like, yo, you listening to da 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 da, and they're like, yeah, I'm listening to da 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 da, like, yo, what track you like? And then literally that would be like the whole conversation. You know what I mean? I miss those days. Those days was like super cool. So like, or there'd be moments like growing up, like for instance, I remember when my boy Rob, he used to sit there and come to my house, and he would be like, yo man, you heard of Eminem? I'm like, nah, who that? And then he was like, hi, my name is, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And he would be like, yo man, you gotta listen to his album, yo, his album is fire. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't really, like I said, I only had like Ludacris at the time. I had like Rough Riders, DMX, a lot of West Coast music. I played a lot of Pac. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from the East Coast, but I played a lot of Tupac. My brother put me on Tupac. My brother put me on all West Coast music, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm listening to M, and I'm like, yo, this album is totally different. Totally. Actually, that's what like inspired me to start writing and become an artist, was because Eminem's first album, the Slim Shady LP, is when it all started. You know what I mean? So like, I remember what I did was, because my mom told me to turn the shout out to my mama. What up, ma? Right? And my mom would say, turn that off. You're not playing that. I can't believe he's saying all these things, which was really true. And at the time, I think I was like 12 or 13. I really can't remember, right? I can't remember. I know I was young, right? But sitting there and I'm like, all right, cool. But what I was doing was I had the volume on low, and I pressed record and put on the cassette, because I had a cassette player. We didn't have money for a CD player. You know what I'm saying? And if you know about a cassette tape, it was literally that one album. You didn't have no selection, and you had to rewind and fast forward. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you bit that it's not lens, what is it called? Just the tape. If you bent the tape, whatever the case may be, and then try to rewind it back with a pencil, over time, it would eat up your tape and it would just be a disaster. So you always had to make 2 copies. And if you lost that one copy, that other copy had to make a second copy. That's just like the cassette situation. I know cassette tapes are mad in this industry, because at one point they was making tons of bread. I mean, think about it, right? People were getting blanks on a day-to-day basis. That's just what it was. Just to make sure that their album, their music was intact. Just in case if one popped, they had something else before like the CD thing took off, right? All right, boom. So, like, I played that Eminem record to school everywhere I went. I took it everywhere I went, and I would take notes and listen to it and listen to the charismatic spots and all of that stuff, and then literally go to somebody's house and literally like have battles and be like, yo, this is my favorite album, that's my favorite album, but this album ain't beating this album, and literally we would compare and contrast, and literally that's what kind of made my era like kind of cool, like from where I'm from. But not only that, my brother put me in that situation where I would be around some of his friends. I would see them scratch, certain, when they had the vinyls, they would scratch and DJ and all that stuff, and I'd be right there with them. And literally that inspired me to like make music. Like, I was always inspired from that point on. So like, this has always been a passion. Like literally, like my brother brought me into this. So shout out to my brother again. But nah, man, like, that's what I miss. I miss what it used to be when somebody would listen to an album. Don't get me wrong, I call my boy Manja, you know what I mean, and rest in peace to Gary, because that was my other person I would call, and we would literally take notes of what bar was what and this, that, and the third. And I miss him just saying like, son, did you hear that bar with Push said? Did you hear what Malice said? Boy, like, I miss all of that. I wish, like, that's the thing I miss about me and my boy Gary. Know what I'm saying? But those times, like, you know what I'm saying, those were golden moments. You know what I mean? But those are the moments I miss. You know what I'm saying? Like, just sitting down, which I'm also going to be making a podcast. And since you guys like my live so much, I decided to go ahead and make a live with it. You know what I mean? And really talk about certain things and certain album cuts so that y'all get kind of a feeling of that. I didn't know that you guys really were, like, kind of missing that. I know that we have certain podcasts that really talk about, like, the interviews with certain celebs and this, that, and the third. But I'm more of a person, I want to talk about what it was behind the scenes for the listener's perspective. The same way it is for gaming. You know what I mean? So, like, man, I just, I miss those days of just sitting down and just being like, yo, what you like about this record? What part, what verse, this, that, and the third? Like, you know what I mean? What made you gravitate to this album. It was therapeutic for me. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things that No Malice was saying was highly therapeutic. You know what I mean? And like, I just miss those days. Like, I miss those days. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you haven't, and I'm gonna just put it out there, if you want to hear some really good hip-hop music that has been fluent besides Kendrick Lamar's GNX that everybody knows, shout out to Kendrick, know what I'm saying? Like, of course, you got the Clip's new album that just came out, Let God Sort 'Em Out, fire. If you have not heard Tyler, the Creator's latest album, you need to go ahead and go listen to that. That album is super fire. If you haven't listened to Lupe Fiasco, Samurai, you're bugging. Like, that's super, super, super dope. Not only that, Lloyd Banks came out with an album, classic. Nobody's talking about that like they should. That album is fire. And LL Cool J dropped something. Not only that, Jid and Eminem just dropped something that was super crazy, and Eminem like really went insane. Know what I'm saying? Like, bar for bar and just technical, like, man, like super, super fire. So if you want to listen to like these particular artists right here, got some great content that I've been listening to. So if you want to listen to something that's really going to give you an education, like, you know, and really don't get me wrong, like, you know, of course we got songs that we going to listen to that we like, whatever the case may be, but then there's other moments where we got to like pay homage to like real bars and real stories and real plots and real schemes and metaphors and double entendres and like highlights and stuff like that. Like, that is highly needed. You know what I mean? And, you know, like, I really hope we get back into that. Like, try to give some of that back, a little bit more substance, instead of just throwing out music and thinking that, oh, we just looking for something to stick. No, we don't want that anymore. You know what I mean? I'm tired of the dirty laundry music. I'm tired of all of that. Let's have music with substance that take us to a world like video gaming. That's why I video game. To take us to a world where we just literally just enjoying it for the moment, and we just, you know, thinking outside the box for a second. You know what I'm saying? And just like letting it cut or give us some type of education or giving us more purpose instead of the same exact thing that we've been looking at for, like, I don't know, the last 15, 20 years. Know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. But I had to give y'all that, man. Like, you know, I want it to be what it used to be, and it seemed like it's like we're getting like that old hip hop style back, but just in modern day in a better shape and form, like kind of just redesigning the shape of what we're prone to, and I like that. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, I got an album coming out next year, so like, you know what I mean? Like, but I do miss the days of just being on the block, talking to the people, and literally having a battle, or just literally like, this bar is crazy, or then somebody tries to compare their favorite artist to why this artist not better than this artist. I live for conversations like that. But it's your boy Core 187. I'll holla at y'all later. Peace.
Right or wrong, I'm singing